a fluid situation in this rotation. There are guys that are rehabbing to come back right now. Brian Bayo, Lucas Giolito, both of those guys. And we'll see where they pit. Cutter Crawford, I mean, he's still out there, although I'm not sure what his rehab situation is right now. I know that Bayo and Giolito are on their way back. Do we know what's up with Crawford?
I don't think he started a rehab assignment. From the sounds of it in the spring, it felt like it was going to be a while.
All right, and that's sort of what I thought, but I didn't want to leave him out here if he's working to get back to it. And I'm sure he's working to get back, but in terms of rehab and actual rehab assignments and, the steps that you take when you're coming off the IL to get back, that's already been initiated by Giolito. It's been initiated by Bayo. Also, Liam Hendricks. He's another one who is working to get back as well and starting up on rehab stuff very soon here. So there's going to be some reinforcements coming in. And it's a good time, always a good time to be to have more bodies in the bullpen and certainly in the rotation when you need them. But I think that these last two nights, even though they lost last night, seeing Tanner Houck go out there and pitch dominantly, I thought he was dominant last night. They didn't win the game, but he was not because of him. And same with Buehler today. This was a Blue Jays team that in the first two games had 6 runs off of Fitz, and then, well, it wasn't all off of Fitz, but it was 6 runs with Fitz, the starter, and then 6 runs with Crochet. And you see that happen, especially the Crochet one, which, again, not his fault. Most of those runs ended up being unearned. But it was one of those things that you sort of watch and go, man, we were talking about the weather, how cold it was, and really sort of ignoring the fact that the weather was not bothering George Springer one little bit. And he was a terror in this series and a true Red Sox killer. I mean, he's become one of those guys. We were talking about it last night, but there's a lot of Toronto Blue Jays over the years that they just kill the Red Sox. And he's definitely one of them now. He was killing them back in Houston, too, so it's really nothing new. But on the subject of Walker Buehler, just real quick, not to say that you can define what his season's going to be after these 3 starts, but this was a major, major step in the right direction after 2 starts that I think left a lot of people wondering, oh, man, was this one of those moves? And the Red Sox have done this historically a lot, and all teams do it. But you go in on a guy, you miss out on the big ace, you miss out on the big free agents, and so you go for a guy who's maybe a bit of a reclamation project, someone who missed a lot of time recently and is getting a little up there in the years. Haven't seen as much of him, but has some great highlights to look back at over the years, and Walker Buehler sort of fits that. There's been other guys that they've done, like guys over the years who weren't as decorated as Buehler, but same kind of idea. Guys like Matt Clement and players like that, Wade Miller over the years, guys that had good years prior, and when they got to Boston, you were sort of hoping they could recapture that. And again, I'm not saying that they're all the same level of pitcher, but it's that same kind of thing with Walker Buehler. And that was as close as he's looked to the prime Walker Buehler as we've seen so far. And if we can see a little more of that over the course of however many innings it is that he ends up giving you this year, then I think we'd all be pretty happy. I'd be very happy to see that. And a Toronto offense that I thought was looking pretty scary here all throughout. You look back at the numbers, they're really not all that strong. These last 2 nights, both offenses really kind of went in the tank. The Red Sox and the Blue Jays tonight, it was a little bit better than what you saw there last night, but still, no runs in this game until the 6th. It was whipping by. I thought we were going to get on the air at like 6:30. I'm sitting there going, man, this is going to be another one. Last night, that game, the 9 innings, they went to extras. But to get through 9 innings, it only took about 2 hours. Pitch clock or not, I mean, they were giving a lot of at-bats away. Pitchers were working fast. It was, if you like a nice, efficient game, then you saw that. The only problem is both games went to extra innings, so here you go. The Red Sox in this one, I would say the offense still has some questions to answer, and that's what I want to talk about here, because with the Red Sox, after 14 games, a 2-week sample size, that doesn't define what your season's going to be, okay? It doesn't. But it does, that's a relevant sampling. And I think with a relevant 14-game sampling, we can say some things about the team so far. Number one, they have a kind of streaky offense. The offense is streaky. And I don't mean that in a pejorative way. In order to be streaky, you have to be good sometimes, and they are good sometimes. That's what I've noticed so far. With runners in scoring position, they were a little bit better tonight, but over the course of this series, they were dreadful with runners in scoring position. Prior to tonight, I think they were 2 for 29. That's horrific. And needs to be, I don't know exactly what you do about that. I don't know, Cora, Fatsy, what's going on over there with the hitting coaches, but that is rough. That's a rough approach, rough results. I can chalk that up to early season, whatever, but it is something to look at. It's 14 games. It's not nothing. 14 games where you're having that much trouble driving in runners that get on base. Mostly it's been Rafael Devers who's been doing that, but that's important. And I think the streakiness of this team is exemplified by Rafael Devers, who has been nothing if not one extreme streak on one side and then another extreme on the other side. He started the year 0 for 21, did Rafael Devers. And since then, since those first however many games it was that it took him to get to that dreadful start and all the strikeouts, I mean, it was tough. It was tough watching him. Since then, your batting average obviously is 0 when you're 0 for 21. His batting average is now 278. Just think about that. Think about how good you have to be after those first 21 at-bats to get it up to 278 that fast. His on-base percentage, after being, again, near 0, he walked a couple of times, but it was very, very low, is now up to 375, and he's slugging 426. That's kind of amazing. And I think emblematic so far of what the offense has been, which is to say, I'm not going to tell you that the offense is going to be streaky all year long, but I will say this. I think they're going to go the way Rafael Devers goes. When Devers is hitting, I think the offense is going to hit. Now, that didn't necessarily happen here. Devers was the only one who could put the bat on the ball at all yesterday. And tonight it was, let me double check here, but with Devers, I mean, the whole team, it seemed like he was 2 for 5, which isn't bad at all. Duran had a good night at the plate. Story was 2 for 5. You didn't really have much else at the bottom of the order after that. Not a lot of hits there. Bregman was 1 for 4. Cassis 1 for 4. I'd say that David Hamilton came on to pinch run. I think he scored a run. Did he score the winning run?
Yes.
Was that Hamilton? Okay, yeah, he scored the winning run there. So, yeah, he came into pinch run for Devers after he got on base there in the 10th. And, again, I mean, these are the type of wins where you just got to go out there and manufacture it. And they got a little bit of help, too. I'd say they got a little bit of help there from Nick Sandlin, who was awesome last night. And in this one was just all over the place. He was hitting guys. He was walking guys. He could not regain the form and control that you saw last night when he closed that game out. And to the Red Sox credit, it's not as if it's not as if they've got a lot better. But 14 strikeouts last night, down to 10 tonight. Baby steps. Another truth that we have to deal with and face here is Christian Campbell and his defense. It's kind of bad. It's kind of bad so far. And these are the first games of his career. I understand that he's a young player. He's out of position. This is all these things are true. But it's not good. I mean, we're seeing it pretty regularly with him. And he didn't get credit for the error tonight on that play. It was how they scored their second run, I want to say. It was Heineman had the single, and then Vlad Guerrero grounds into a fielder's choice, hits it on one hop right to Campbell. Campbell could have taken it over and stepped on the bag and then tried to turn 2. Instead, he double clutches and flips it. Story wasn't really expecting it. He grabs it and made a throw. They ended up giving him the throwing error, but the whole reason he had the throwing error in the first place is he wasn't expecting to get the ball. And really, I think that was more on Campbell. But again, these are growing pains. These are things that he's going to have to work out. I will also say that 13, or how many is it now? I believe it's 14 errors in 14 games. Yikes. 14 errors in 14 games. Now, I asked Will about this the other day, and Will framed it by saying the reason why there's more errors this year is because they're getting the ball, Bregman's getting the balls that Devers wouldn't get to. And it's harder to make plays on those balls sometimes. And he wasn't just talking about that, but that was sort of an example that he gave. And I was thinking about that. And that may be true. I mean, listen, Bregman may be able to get to grounders that Devers couldn't get to. But if he's making errors on him, just like Devers does on balls that are hit to him, then it's kind of 6 of one, half dozen of the other, isn't it? I don't think Bregman's going to lead the league in errors all year, okay? He has more errors than several teams right now. But it's noticeable. Again, this is a 14-game sampling, and he's not the only one. I mean, listen, this is not just the Alex Bregman thing. I'd say it's most noticeable with him just because his defense was so ballyhooed coming in here, and he does lead the team in errors now. He's got 3. Duran's got 2. Campbell has 2. Probably should have had a third one tonight. Ref Snyder has 1. Romy Gonzalez, Narvaez, Wong, and Tristan Casas all have errors. And I don't think this team is bad defensively. I don't. I think they've had a bad start to the year. And I do think that 14 games is, again, relevant. That's a relevant sampling. It doesn't mean they're going to be bad all year. But through these 14 games, you can say that they have shown a propensity to misplay the ball. And I was really hoping that was over. I was hoping those days were behind us as Red Sox fans. I was hoping that from now on, now that we got all our guys in place and Devers is DHing and everyone, had to take their medicine with that you'd reap the rewards from it by becoming a good, maybe, I'd settle for average defensive team. Settle for not leading the league in errors, which is what they're doing currently. I'd settle for that. I'd settle for average. But so far the numbers are what they are.